Hello, everybody, and welcome to the RFA, the Roofball Federation of America podcast. Here we are. This is the first podcast we've done together.
Yes, in the same place. Yeah.
In person, I guess maybe that's a better way of putting it. And we were at a local watering hole. And
when they sponsor us, we'll tell you which one.
That's right, in the Beaverton, Oregon area. And we wanted to talk about the 2023 RFA Cup. So it's a week away from today. And so we wanted to chat about it, talk about some cool things, some new stuff again that hasn't happened before in Roofball, and go to it. Now, you've had a chance to meet some of our new players and stuff. I haven't, so I'll probably be peppering you with some questions, but let's just start. 2023 RFA Cup, general thoughts.
I mean, it's going to be the most geographically diverse tournament we've ever had, for sure, by far, outside of some old school roofballers who have from time to time come back from Texas. The last tournament we had the first people ever coming from out of state, and that was two of them. And now
that was as far away as you could get.
Texas?
No, Florida.
Oh, Florida. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In the continental U.S. Yes, absolutely right. But this time we have 9 players coming from out of state, representing 8 different states. Well, 7 different states and the province of British Columbia.
Yes, so that's international.
Yes, and
so
he himself is English. That player is English.
Well, there you go. So no more comments about that it's just local.
Well, had he played in the Worlds, we probably had a few less people yelling about it being a World Championship.
Now, we're going to have to nickname him something that everybody just knows that he's not from
the
United States.
the Englishman. Just the Englishman.
There you go.
Although he's coming from Canada. He lives in Canada, but originally from England. Mike Common. We're singing, what's the anthem? God Save the King. We debated, but not O Canada, we're going with God Save the King. By the way, a total aside, this got me down a rabbit hole of, okay, well, we need a British flag. Do we also need a Canadian flag? And I was like, well, now I feel like we're just honoring where he came from. What about all the other out-of-state players? Should we get all the state flags?
So we're sticking with the United States.
We're going with the U and Britain. The two anthems we're singing. The two anthems we're singing, we're going to have flags.
Okay. All right.
But so, in addition to the out-of-state players, also 2023 already is the most new players ever to play in a roofball year. Period. That includes the early years.
Even the very first tournament.
Even the very first tournament, yes, because there was 9 of 9.
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
Well, so there were only 9 in that one, and then most of them played again at the U.S. Open in 1999. So yeah, this is for this year far and away has had more new players than ever before. And of our 27 players at the RFA Cup, 17 of them will be playing either their first or second tournament, which is unheard of.
Right, now, we have a lot of ways we can go, but you just said something that for the keen observer would pique their interest.
Okay.
You said 27 players.
27, yes. Very keen observers would note that 24 has historically been our maximum. But I'm going to try not to get too in the weeds with the full story, but basically I put out the email, hey, we sent it out to our list of future players and said, hey, who wants in? We got something on the order of 31 who seemed very firm that they wanted to play. And not wanting to just arbitrarily call that to 24, we decided to have a qualifier tournament for just the locals.
The day before.
And that was going to be the way we got down to 24. Well, a couple people organically dropped out or couldn't make it. And then one, being my sister, decided she'd rather do full-time sideline reporting than play. And that got us to like 28. And then a couple people couldn't attend the qualifying anyway, so we were then back to a number just north of 24. When I said, actually, okay, we're good, then one of them still couldn't come. We ended up at 27, and the decision was made, okay, as opposed to what normally would happen is you take half of that number, add to the nearest multiple of 3, and you do that all the way down. What that would have done is created a whole additional round of roofball. Right. So it would have made the first round instead of 8 games be 9, the second round instead of 4 be 5, and a whole separate 3-game third round, which would mean basically another hour of roofball, which is a lot of additional roofball. So what we decided to do, with help from Derek, with help from my sister, was let's just play it as if it were 24, just with 1 extra game. So we're going to have 9 winners and 3 wild cards advance to the second round. But yeah, because of that, by definition, it'll be the biggest tournament in roofball.
That's right. Okay. So that's exciting stuff.
Pretty exciting, yeah.
Alrighty. All right, now you've had a chance to chat.
Yes.
Either through email and in some cases over this intranet thing that's going around.
This new invention called Zoom.
With some of those folks that are
I'm getting up my notes here, by the way, is what's happening.
Across the country and continent.
Exactly.
So any interesting things you want to tell us about some of our new competitors?
Yeah, there are a lot of cool stories to these guys. One thing that I found particularly, just trivia-wise, Chad New, who is just from Hillsboro, local-ish guy, who pretty local, yeah, as local as you are.
Yep.
He is a trail runner, an ultra trail runner, which Kevin Metz, who played in the last tournament, was also an ultra runner. So I thought that was interesting. I wonder if there's some sort of gravitational pull that brings those two things together.
Is he going to show up in his van and then leave Roofball
immediately
and
leave and never be heard from again? I mean, maybe that could happen, but that's cool. He can also ride a bike with no hands and played multiple sports at Monroe High School.
Okay.
So he's a legitimate former athlete.
Maybe still an athlete.
Maybe a current athlete. Well, as an ultra runner, yes, but ball sports we don't know. We have a very interesting younger player named Evan Parton from Seattle, who is into music production, ham radio, model rockets, and sports playing, etc. He played junior football for 5 years as a kid.
Is he a rocket scientist?
He is. He works for Boeing, so he's an aerospace type guy, which is cool.
All right. Are you feeling inferior?
Well, that is the thing. The more you read into these people, you're like, okay, I don't know if the veterans are going to do great at this tournament. Steve Lacey, who's a former poker dealer, who was turned into a construction supervisor, he called us while driving.
Okay.
And hands-free, yes, which was very cool. I mean, I don't know if you're supposed to be on camera, but yeah, it was definitely legal. That's all that matters. We got a comedian from Chicago who, for his bio, put Ellen DeGeneres' bio in. No idea if he has any kind of sports background, but he seems to be funny.
This is great.
Kevin Wade, who played last time and played pretty well, he was the last out in the wild card of the first round. He's also a curler. Talked to a lot of these people who have quirky hobbies, and it seems to line up really well with why they might be interested in Roofball.
I'm waiting for us to hit a disc golf crowd or a pocket.
I'm sorry that I'm forgetting. One of these guys is significantly into disc golf. So, yeah, I think that dovetails very well.
Now, if he can throw the football this or that way and get it up there, that'll be interesting.
Yes. Oh, and now, Scott Grenstead, coming from Lancaster, Ohio, originally from Florida. He is, I thought he was joking at first, but he has doubled down in our Zoom interview. He is going to take the specs of Mom's Roof, and he has full intention to build a replica of Mom's Roof in his backyard in Ohio. And I told him, Scott, if you build a replica of my mom's roof in your backyard, we will have the U.S. Open in your place. So get ready for a trip to Ohio next year.
Oh, next year?
Yeah, next year. Not this year. No, that's this year. Good call.
Well, I have to defend my championship.
Chris Owen from Mesa, Arizona. He was a softball player. He's a big fan of the Bucks and the Rays. He's a Tampa guy.
The Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers, yes, not the Milwaukee Bucks and not the Pirates of Pittsburgh, also known as the Bucks.
At least that's pirate themed.
Yes, very true. And then just a lot of a kid who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Colby Lawrence, learned that about him. He's
really?
About to turn 14.
Yes. So Colby, if you watched the World Championships this year, was 13 at the time, and was maybe the third youngest competitor we've ever had. Something like that.
So he's getting older now, as we do. But he's about to finish 8th grade. Yeah, you're right. And he's about to finish 8th grade. And when he told me that he was almost done with middle school, I kind of applauded and said, very seriously, congratulations, good job. But, listen, I'll trade junior high for high school every day of the week, man. Be done with that. So he's a rising high schooler in Vancouver. And he had a pretty good arm last time. So, the one thing that's interesting that I honestly, maybe it's because I don't have kids, I don't think about it as much, is the fact that he's going to continue to improve. His physiology is going to be more apt to do
probably,
well.
Yeah. He's probably going to get worse.
Right, and Christian did not win tournaments as a 13-year-old, but once he hit 18 and beyond, he's been winning tournaments. So you never know what matters.
Let's talk a little bit about Christian. Why would we talk about Christian?
Christian is returning once again from Texas, flying back from Austin to be in this one.
And this one is important to him because
he is the defending champion. He won both the Worlds and the RFA Cup last year. And Derek beat him on a walk-off ping to deny him the calendar cow last year.
That's how that happens.
Yes, it sure did. And so, he's back to defend his title. He's a 2-time RFA Cup champion. So, he's looking for his third and his second in a row.
Excellent. Now, the RFA Cup, as far as from the history standpoint of Roofball, is the newest tournament.
Yes.
What year did it start?
2007 was the first
2007.
One. Corresponding exactly to when I moved back from the East Coast and could be hands-on for more than 2 tournaments.
Now, not to get personal here, I'm trying to make a thing about this.
Oh, boy.
But why is this tournament, even though it's the newest, the most important, I will say, at this point in your Roofball
In my
career?
calendar, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself in this performance, but it is the one that has always eluded me. I've played in every one of those tournaments, and I have never won one. And obviously, I would like to complete the cow. Interestingly, there's no true old school Roofball players that have ever won the cow. Only two people have.
Two, yeah.
And Steve Stupi was a TV era arrival, as were you. And so a lot of us are missing just the cup because it was missing from the first 8 years.
There's fewer opportunities.
Yeah, but still, I've had
You've had all the opportunities.
Yes, Derek has had all but one of the opportunities. I've had all of them. You've had all but one. Actually, you started the Open, so you missed the first two. But when I was thinking about buying the trophy bases for this year's tournament, I asked Derek if he could send me a picture of one of his bases because I myself don't have one. And he very humorously said, "Oh, did you lose yours?" And of course, the answer is yes, in 2 finals and 2 third places. And in my opinion, I was actually thinking about this driving over, most notably in the 2012 RFA Cup when the final 3 were me, my sister, and a young, not quite champion yet, Christian Perkest. And halfway through that tournament, halfway through that game, I was ahead and was like, well, one of them's going to fall off. I got this. Put it in cruise control, and they both flew past me, and I was eliminated. That's the one that was probably put there on a platter for me that I didn't win. And that ended up being Christian's first title.
Control.
Yes.
Or you went to and you just didn't hit the button, so you just kind of de-accelerated.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. Or to not, I'll probably get sued, but the Tesla thing, I put it in autopilot and went right into the barrier.
All right. So, is there anybody else besides you with the win would have an opportunity to win?
Unless you know something I don't, I think the answer is no. At this tournament, no one is playing in this tournament.
All right. Well, let's take a look at some of the veterans.
Okay.
All right. So we have Dale. So Dale finished semifinalist in the most recent tournament, and he's a one-time champion of
the RFA Cup 2011.
In fact, yes.
If you haven't seen that, it's recently added to YouTube.
Yes, so the 2011.
Oh God, spoiler alert, sorry.
So 12 years
12 years ago, yeah.
We had that recorded, and we had it pretty much edited, and it never saw the light of day.
Yep.
So because of the peak in interest, the skyrocketed interest in Roofball, we took some time, delved into what else is in the catacombs, and we were able to put that up. So if you haven't seen it, go check out the YouTube channel. In fact, if you have, go check it out again. Make sure you're subscribed.
Absolutely, yes.
So that's good. We have a couple other things we're looking for. We'll see if we
have some things. Yeah, we have other things we need to look for and digitize, and other things that are. And the raw form is available, so there's more old school content to come.
All right, so we have Dale, former champion. On the women's side, we have Amy Dieterman,
17-time champion,
who just won the women's championship of the RFA, the World Championship, and as you said, 17-time, which is the most ever.
Tied with Beth for the most ever, yeah. Okay, for the moment, tied with Beth.
So she'll have a chance to break that record.
She will, and it would be her 6th women's RFA Cup title if she won this year.
And then we have Buddy Emmons, who I think has won it twice.
Yes, 07 and 09.
Okay. So 2-time RFA Cup champion, 4-time total.
Yes.
Yeah. And just the master of the rounds. So always in it.
Yes.
It's the old 3-point shooter. You shoot yourself in or shoot yourself out.
Exactly right.
Live and die by the round.
He gets a 5 or a 60 and no in between.
All right. And then I'm trying to think if there's any other champions that we haven't mentioned on there.
Rob Zielinski. Rob's won a pair also. Sorry, he's won 2 times, 1 RFA Cup. He's won 2 championships.
US Open. Yes. All right. And then we have some other veterans. We have Devin Humpage, who has a few semifinals.
So many semis. He really wants to break in and get engraved on one of the trophies.
Yeah. Anybody else I'm missing?
Veteran-wise, well, me. We talked about me.
I feel like we talked.
You. Yes. How many RFA Cups have you won?
4.
Which is the all-time most, by the way. No one's won more RFA Cups than Derek. Although I will say, I believe as of last year, my name's on the trophy more than anything. It means little if you don't have the ring.
Now, what I will say, and not to talk about me because I try to shy away from that on the podcast anyway. Not in person.
In real life, not so much.
In real life, no, I don't. Nobody's ever held all 3 championships at once. Yes.
I feel like Steve did. I got to go back. I don't think
once.
Huh?
Nope.
No, he didn't do it. It wasn't. He didn't go Open Cup. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So you would not only. So you'd be the first. You'd get the Tiger Slam, the first ever.
Yes.
Okay.
And set me up an opportunity for
the real slam. The Triple Crown.
Yeah.
The calendar cow. Yep. Right.
So looking forward to
for the goat. A cow for the goat. Yeah. A good shot. But it is interesting when I go into a tournament like this, the last two just specifically, with all of the new faces. You just have no idea what you're getting. You might have somebody who.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. So we had that conversation. I think we've alluded to it on podcasts and other interviews and stuff. Was are you nervous? That the general question: are you nervous not knowing who these folks are? And when you asked me that, my response was no, because I don't know anything.
Right.
So why would that change anything? Right. Now you've
got a little more nervous with my descriptions of guys today.
Sure, yeah. But for all I know, that you're doing it on purpose. So I don't think you're doing any gamesmanship. So I think the interesting thing is we had a new player last tournament come out of nowhere, right? Because again, we didn't know and played up through those first 4 rounds, better than anybody. Maybe he had one bad game in there. Not great. Yeah. Otherwise, he had great games. And he finished second, in Brooks. But Brooks isn't in this tournament.
Right.
Couldn't make it, which is a bummer. But I think that just goes to show you that you have no idea what to expect. It could be really good. It could be really bad. It could be something.
Right. Yeah.
So we have 9 new folks that haven't played before.
9 brand. I think that's right. 9 brand new and then 8 second time or something like that. It's a high. Well, let's do a live count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's a lot in that column. 12. Yeah, it's more. It's 12.
Okay.
I think it's 12.
1 or 2. They played 1 or 2?
No, that's 0. That's brand new.
So almost half the field is new.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have that. And then based on some of your descriptions, some of these folks, we have a D1 former baseball player in there. So you should be able to throw.
You would think,
you hope so.
Fairly accurate.
Unless,
very different ball size, though.
It's a very different ball. And different angles and all that stuff. But the innate ability to throw is there. So you should have some really good competitive stuff coming out of nowhere. So it should be really exciting.
Well, and you got to look out for the second timers, too. Going way, way, way back. In Dano's first tournament, he did not do well at all. And the second tournament, whatever it was, lack of nerves, dialed in, understood what he was going for. A few of the players that we talked to, more drinking. Yeah. A few of the players that we talked to that played the first time had specific thoughts about, I didn't know it was that far of a throw, or I wasn't prepared for that angle. And people that, as they played more, Cameron Casaroni being one of them, I think as he went on, he was dialing in. So how much of that is retained 3 months later? How much, again, the nerves are lessened. They're more used to being in front of a camera. Might he do something really good? Or whatever. Any of those players.
So you're saying I need to turn up or down, I need to dial in my trash talk, my mental game beforehand a little bit.
I think you got to know what you're dealing with and then you trash talk accordingly. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Good.
If it's me, don't trash talk. That's not very nice.
I won't.
I'm very sensitive.
Have I ever?
I weep easily. I mean...
you beat me in championships.
We're actually 2-2.
There you go.
Yeah. And it would make me feel even better if I'd had closer to the 13.
You're not that far off.
60. Oh, by the way, this is also the 60th Roofball tournament ever.
What anniversary is that? Do we know off the top of our head?
Golden? I want to say it's a golden.
15th golden.
Well, then I don't know. Diamond?
Better than gold.
Diamond anniversary? But if I can, I'd like to spin forward slightly to the U.S. Open.
Okay.
Because a lot of people...
You're jumping a few things there, but all right.
Yes, but for a reason, because in addition to... We've talked in a prior podcast about the tournament coming up outside of Detroit, one coming up outside of San Diego. Then we also have the one that's going to be down at Buddy Emmons' house, which is a block away from our RFA headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. That one, I think we have a lot of additional Portlanders right now coming out saying that they want to play. And the problem always is the limit of size at the tournament at my mom's. Well, Buddy's is limitless. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'd say 48 is probably the max, but that's still double normal. And that also affords you the opportunity, if you do well in that tournament, to advance to the U.S. Open at my mom's house. So that's the next thing that I'm really going to be focused on in terms of getting stuff together, and the next big opportunity for almost anybody to want to come and play.
So a couple things there. If you are in the San Diego area, if you're in the Detroit area, if you're in the
just anywhere near
Portland area, and you want to play, there's opportunities coming up, and by performing well in those, you may receive an invite to play in the U.S. Open at the end of the year, and the end of the year being, in this case,
September 24th.
24th.
Sunday, September 24th, at the Royal Nation headquarters once again, the final major of the year, plausibly the final Roofball tournament of the year. But to that end, though, it's not too late. Here we are in the early part of, is it mid-June? We're still early June. It's
very early June.
Early June. we have until September 24th to have a regional.
Yep.
So if you are sitting there, if you're in St. Louis and you say, well, I got a roof, I want to have a regional, plenty of time. And also, I'm going to Livonia, I'm going to San Diego, Derek's going to San Diego. We don't have to be there. You can send us a postcard, you live stream or send us a video of here's what we did, and that qualifies. So there's plenty of time.
All right. Anything else you wanted to touch on for either the Cup or future Roofball stuff?
Roofball, and watch this space for more news and weirdness. Let's just tease some weirdness coming up soon.
There's definitely some weirdness happening.
Yeah.
Has happened.
And will soon be seen by all.
Yes. If you want a sneak peek, go check out the Instagram channel.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, with that, this is Adam Willis. I'm Derek Weber. And we'll talk to you soon. What's 7 weeks?
My championships.